Zi Lu, Zhang Shi, Ran Shu, and Zi Hua were seated in attendance. The master said to them, "Because I am older than any of you, no one is willing to employ me. Yet you too often complain. No one appreciates me. Well, if someone were to appreciate you, what would you do?" Zi Lu spoke up immediately. "If I were given charge of a state of 1,000 chariots, even one hemmed in between powerful states, suffering from armed invasions and afflicted by famine, before 3 years were up, I could infuse its people with courage and a sense of what is right." The master smiled at him. He then turned to Ran Chu. "You, Ran Chu," he said, "what would you do?" Ran Chu answered, "If I were given charge of a state 60 or 70, or even 50 or 60 square li in area, before 3 years were up, I could see it that the people would have all that they needed. As for instructing its people in ritual practice and music, this is a task that would have to await the arrival of a gentleman." The master then turned to Zi Hua. "Zi Hua, what about you?" Zi Hua answered, "I am not saying that I would actually be able to do it, but my wish, at least, would be to learn it. I would like to serve as a minor functionary, properly clad in ceremonial cap and gown, in ceremonies at the ancestral temple, or at diplomatic gatherings." The master then turned to Zhang Shi. "You, Zhang Shi, what would you do?" Zhang Shi stopped strumming his zither, and as the last note faded away, he set the instrument aside and rose to his feet. "I would choose to do something quite different from any of the other three." "What harm is there in that?" the master said. "We are all just talking about our aspirations." Zhang Shi then said, "In the 3rd month of spring, once the spring garments have been completed, I should like to assemble a company of 5 or 6 young men, and 6 or 7 boys, to go bathe in the Yi River and enjoy the breeze upon the rain dance altar, and then return singing to the master's house." The master sighed deeply, saying, "I am with Zhang Shi." This anecdote illustrates the profound significance that an unself-conscious cultivation of genuine human emotion and response has for Confucius. The ambitions of his other students are objects of subtle mockery, but the genuine and modest ambition of Zhang Shi, who notably is portrayed here as a musician, to enjoy innocent and meaningful pleasure and harmony in the company of others, is given the highest praise. It is when we are in tune with such intimate, innocent, and primal human emotions that we are capable of loving each other and acting harmoniously. And for this reason, genuineness is so profoundly valued by Confucius. If ritual is the most basic concept by which Confucius understands our reshaping into Ren, at the heart of his notion of genuineness is his notion of learning. For rituals themselves, of course, are not ahistorical, eternal entities. They socially evolve and are the products of the wisdom of great human beings of the past. In a very real sense, they are the social embodiments of these past achievements. Therefore, in order to understand them and the emotions that lie at their base, it is important to know where they come from and the sort of human attitudes they emerge out of. And so, just as the Zhou dynasty based its social solidarity on looking backwards towards a common glorious origin, and just as parents instruct us in the basic social practices that separate us from animals, Confucius argues in a more general and conceptual way that it is only by looking towards the examples of our forebears that we ourselves can become fully human. On the most basic level, these great achievements of the past are socially embodied in Li, and it is the practices of Li that allow human beings to live in harmony with each other. But that which sustains our connection to the inner meaning of Li, and not merely its external forms, is found in learning, in the study and interpretation of the great human achievements, expressions, and thoughts that rituals embody, and in the learning of the crafts and the arts that embody these achievements in their most emotionally vibrant and practically affecting forms. And so it turns out, in order to become Ren, we must also study history, philosophy, and the arts. Music, in this regard, is particularly important to Confucius. For Confucius, music and dance, in their employment of coordinated movement and cooperation, in a way that produces a whole more than the sum of its parts, and in their expression of the genuine human emotions of joy, love, and suffering that we all share, are vehicles and models of moral and societal transformation. Our basic emotional impulses that, when genuine, can bloom into Ren, are like the basic tones of music. Their proper harmonization is like moral education. And as we have noted earlier, being in touch with these tones is what genuineness is about. This sense of music, as a model of the harmony that we ought to create within our own soul and society, is expressed in this saying from the Analects. The master was discussing music with the grand music master of Lu. He said, "What can be known about music is this. When it first begins, it resounds with a confusing variety of notes. But as it unfolds, these notes are reconciled by means of harmony, brought into tension by means of counterpoint, and finally woven together into a seamless whole. It is in this way that music reaches its perfection." Because of the great importance of genuineness, and the need to be inspired by the past deeds and noble emotions of one's forebears, Confucius also recommends the study of traditional poetry as the starting point of education. The master said, "Find inspiration in the odes, take your place through ritual, and achieve perfection with music." But the study of the history of the Zhou and of the divination manual, the I Ching, which, in the Confucian understanding, is not to be understood so much as a text for fortune-telling, but as a philosophical expression of the patterns of harmony present in nature, is likewise significant for attaining to the wisdom and understanding of human nature and potential that is critical to Ren. It is by connecting to these great expressions of the past that we can come to understand what it is to be human, and how the external forms of ritual have evolved and continue to evolve as vehicles of our common human aspirations. So this is Ren in its fullness. It is living a life in touch with what is best in our common humanity. Such a way of living leads us to seek to create harmony and order in ourselves, others, and in the world and in our relationships, a harmony that extends to both the past and the future, insofar as we sustain our social practices, friendships, societies, and cultural traditions.